Brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Supercenter. Why buy your truck at a car store? Palmetto Ford.
We know trucks.
The NBA season opens up tonight, and that gets going at 7:30. Denver Nuggets hosting the Lakers, and then the Warriors are taking on the Suns at 10 o'clock.
Ooh.
And some news out of this, it looks like Bradley Beal will not be making his Suns debut tonight.
What?
He has a back injury. So it looks like Bradley Beal will not go. And did you see this show, Pony?
Oh, this guy.
You know, this guy, he spent all this time out here flirting. Oh, please, somebody want me, but I don't really want to leave Washington. But okay, I'll leave Washington, but I don't want to leave Washington. Boo-hoo, right? So now he comes out, and Shams is reporting, by the way, unlikely to play tonight. Suns are taking a cautious approach with Beal's back ailment to begin a new season. So there you go. May have dodged a bullet. Not that I ever wanted him, because I didn't. But did you hear this guy? So he was doing an interview with Mark Spears, this like player diary on leaving. And this is what he had to say about the pursuit of the Miami Heat, which he said was his initial preferred destination.
My initial favorite was Miami. So we call Miami. Pats, I'll go talk to Mickey and figure it out. We hear back, it was Milwaukee, Knicks, Sacramento, Brooklyn a little bit. I respect and love every team, but a lot of them just couldn't do it because the money was just so high. Out of nowhere, I get a call and it's Matt Ishbia in Phoenix. I'm like, y'all about to trade Book? Like, how is that going to happen? How is that going to work? Like, that didn't even cross my mind of going to Phoenix. They just kept pressing, and I'm like, I nudged my agent. I'm like, okay, what's Miami doing? What they doing? Dragging feet, and eventually it came to a point to where Miami said they just can't do it. It was an eye-opener for sure. And that's why I said I went into everything kind of with an open mind and open slate. And out of nowhere, here comes a dark horse in Phoenix, and their aggressiveness pushed me over the top.
So there you go. Bradley Beal letting it be known his initial hope was to be on the Miami Heat. Pat went to talk to Mickey. Apparently they were dragging their feet. Now, reports were yesterday the Heat told several of their local reporters that the big concern they had with Bradley Beal is that if they traded for him, that he wasn't going to waive his no trade clause, that he was going to keep that in the deal, and that they were very queasy, it seems, about him making $60 million a year nearly with a no trade clause. So that was the big thing that was their holdup in not wanting to deal for Bradley Beal. But obviously some Heat fans are annoyed, Leroy, because this is the second guy who's on the record this year who said the place I wanted to be is in Miami. I wanted to be with the Miami Heat. Neither of them are with the Miami Heat.
Well,
I know. I just want to be clear. I never wanted Bradley Beal, and I especially was never going to give up Tyler Hero for Bradley Beal because this guy was a flirt. Okay, he just wants to be wanted. I don't even know if he's that good a player anymore. But that being said, I get it. You Heat fans, you're tired of running it back. You wanted new things, and now, especially now, you don't have Dame and you don't have Bradley Beal because part of the appeal of having Bradley of passing on Bradley Beal was, oh, we're going to go get Dame, and they didn't get Dame, but they both said that they wanted to be here, and they're not here. So
okay, first of all, you are the ringleader for I want new shiny things.
That's not true.
Oh my goodness, stop lying.
I've ruled out Bradley.
Stop
Beal.
lying.
If we were gonna get,
that's all you talked about all summer.
All I said
was,
what I said was I would take Bradley Beal if it meant we got to keep Tyler Hero too.
No.
You know, that's okay, absolutely true.
But here's the other thing. You know the Heat better than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't making no trade if something in it they don't like. That $60 million is a lot not to like.
Mm-hmm.
That you wouldn't be able to dump. So you're going to pay a guy $60 million a year to live his last days in South Florida and take your $60 million while.
But I guess my big problem is like if I think the thing that the Heat are trying to spin on, and it's fine. The thing the Heat are trying to put out there is that they had an uneasiness with the no trade clause when it's really just kind of putting a spin on we didn't like the money, because it's hard enough to trade $60 million as it is for anybody on a contract that, like, if he's not living up to his contract, you're going to be in a situation where, like, oh, this guy's making $60 million. Not a lot of teams that can go trade for that anyway. You know, go see some of the tough deals that are, but hell, they can't find a deal for Kyle Lowry at $30 million. He doesn't have a no trade clause. So the idea that it's like, oh, it's a no trade clause that gave us the uneasiness. It's like, was it that or was it the money? I get it. Bradley Beal makes a lot of money. He makes a ton of money, probably way too much for a guy who's not that good. He's good. He's good. He's good. No Damian Lillard. He's not that good. He's not that good.
And is he barely 30?
I think he's 31 or 2 now. Been around a while, man. 30.
Right.
30.
Well, if there's any indication of why you wouldn't want him, Exhibit A. Bradley Beal is out tonight with a bad back.
Bad back, dude. And he's been banged up a lot over the last couple of years.
Sure.
A lot. So, but I look, I get the Heat fan. You're sitting here and you're like, hey, we wanted upgrades.
And when you mean Heat fans, you mean you.
I don't mean me, because I was off the Bradley Beal ship for a while. I was off that ship, dude. Rats off a ship. Because he was a flirt. He did, you know, his behavior was unbecoming because he did this all the time. Where
now
like,
we filming A Few Good Men.
No, it's just like he's out there and he was like, oh, please, somebody want me, but I don't want to leave Washington because I want the super duper 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 max, even though he's not that good a player. And listen, credit to him. He foisted them, got his super duper max, and now he's playing with Kevin Durant. So good for him. Well played, you know, to Bradley Beal. But I was rats off the ship on him for a while because it just seemed like he was always cutesy with the liking the Heat photoshops. He's always trying to get us riled up. All right. He was a flirt. And that just, it turned me off on him. It's like, too much, Bradley Beal. Too much.
Sick of this guy.
And now he's coming, whoa, Miami was dragging its feet.
I thought that was the end. I thought once he got signed with Phoenix, we no longer would have to hear from this guy.
Yeah. And now he's digging up old stuff. Just go enjoy your team, Bradley Beal.
Right. Go fix your back.
You know?
Sick of this guy. He's no Tyler Hero.
He's not Tyler Hero. And I would never trade Tyler Hero for him.
I got to tell you, you two are something special.
What do you mean?
Because you need a hype man.
I don't need a
hype. This is your guy.
I don't need a hype man.
Really?
I don't need a hype man. I do find it, like, if the Heat are going to come out there and be like, oh, well, it was the no trade clause, I would have just been like, well, we were going after Dame. Like, I think that would have been a better sell to the fans than the no trade clause was bothering us.
I mean, they didn't move very quickly to get Dame either.
They didn't. And then you have Pat Riley talking about the abyss, you know, so I don't know. It's just, they had this summer where it felt like they finally got what they've been wanting, or at least what Pat's been wanting, which is stars that want to come here. And you had two basically put themselves up on a platter, be like, do what you got to do. And it doesn't feel like the Heat wanted to go anywhere near doing what they had to do.
Here's what I would say transpired this summer. The Heat, I believe, made an assumption that they were the only team, the only show in town, right? And they acted accordingly. That, hey, you'll come back, right? When you're more reasonable, come back to us. We're the only show, we're only show right now. But they weren't. And what happens is now, because of how you handled the situation and tried to be hardball and all the stuff that was said about, the GM and stuff like that, now the GM has more, angst or more incentive to do it with somebody else. So I don't know if the deal was even better than what the Heat were offering. But the fact of the matter is we really don't know what the Heat were offering because they were playing hardball because they assumed. It doesn't
sound like the Heat offered anything. If they're coming out and they're telling, reporters yesterday that they didn't even want to get in the game for Bradley Beal because of his no trade clause. Doesn't sound
no, but I'm talking about even with Dame.
Yeah, no, I think the Dame thing is. I think the Dame thing definitely has way more layers to it than this does, which
Right.
is fine. He's a better player. It should have had more layers. I just think that the idea that you didn't get into the game for Bradley Beal and you're saying it's because of a no trade clause, it's like,
No, it's
well,
because of that 60 damn million for a guy that's always hurt.
and I think for the Heat, like, look, they don't want to be this team that's crushed by the tax or these new bylaws in the CBA with second aprons and whatever the hell keeps Andy Ellisberg up at night having to figure out the mechanisms of tax and, repeater tax and can I use my mid-level for a 45-year-old power forward, like all that stuff that they have to figure out,
Right.
which I'm not very interested in. But the point is they don't want to be penalized for having a very expensive roster. And you need to know if you're going to trade for Bradley Beal, is that a guarantee that you're going to be in the championship? Now, from the basketball side of things, here's the thing, though. You can say no, but if you're getting Bradley Beal, and especially if you were able to do it without giving up Tyler Hero, which Bradley Beal went for peanuts, so I'm assuming you could have. Bradley Beal, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, that's not doing damage in the league? Are we kidding? So, I
think offensively, Bradley Beal wasn't good enough for you to bring in and not have that defensive aspect of it, right? Whereas Dame was, right? Dame was good enough offensively where if he wasn't the best defender, you can still deal with that because he was so good offensively. And so you make different exceptions to your rules of what you want in a player between Dame Lillard and Beal. Now, I just think you do. I don't think that.
Man, but they were 26 in scoring last year, Leroy. Their offense was slop. Like,
yeah, but still,
if you have Jimmy and you have Bam on a floor, you're going to be fine defensively. You're going to be fine. Like this talk of we didn't know how it was. Like, all right, well, you need somebody to get you some buckets, dude. Like that's.
Agreed.
You got. It was like trying to find points for the Heat last year. It was like trying to find water in the desert. Sometimes it was.
Hey, you know what they didn't? They found a lot of in that desert bricks,
especially in the regular season. Now, look, the shooting got better in the playoffs, but I'm gonna. You're going into this, and Pat Riley said this yesterday in his interview with Anthony Chang of like, you're going to need a step up from Bam and Tyler because it's going to be hard for the Heat fan not to have lingering over the entire season of Dame and Beal wanted to be here and we didn't make that happen.
Right.
You can make all this, the logic thing, and I get it. Like, look, the willy-nilly owner like Matt Ishbia who comes in there, or the Russian dude who owned the Nets for a hot minute, or Ballmer, not really working out for them. Like, it usually doesn't work out for the guy who just spends crazy. They eventually start tearing it down. Mickey Harrison and Nick Harrison, they've had a lot more success. But fans don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear about, you don't want to spend X. They want you to win a championship. Are you guys not, there's winning in misery, or are you, there's close to winning and it's not that miserable?
Well, let me ask you this. Is Bradley Beal worth it to where you knew you were going to be a championship caliber team? Because I don't know if that to be true, right? Like, yeah, he would be a good piece, but would he be that difference maker that would get you over the championship hump?
Yeah, it's kind of a mystery because you don't really know with him because he hasn't been in any meaningful basketball in a long time.
Right, and
Dame,
that's something
Dame's
you know about Dame.
Dame's ended playoff series. Dame's ice cold.
Right. So, I mean, that I think had more to do with it than anything, that you were like, I'm going all in on Dame, whatever that all in means. But if it means that I got to choose at this point between Dame Dollar and Bradley Beal, then I choose Bradley Beal. I choose Dame Dollar.
I just feel like if I was going to explain to people why we didn't get in the game for Bradley Beal, it should have been like, we wanted Damian Lillard and Joe Cronin was a baby. That would just be my answer for everything.
Yeah, all right.
Be like, you're gonna try and convince me it was the no trade clause? Come on.
No trade clause making $60 million is a big
That
factor.
making $60 million basically is a no trade clause. If you suck,
Nobody's going to trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even at the end, people who trade to get that money off their books the following year.
yeah, really. Well, it seems to be working out. For it doesn't seem to work out all the time. James Harden, he's on expiring.
Woo.
They're not moving him. Kyle Lowry's
Well,
on expiring. He hasn't been moved.
Oof.
At this point, I don't think James Harden is moving himself. I think he's sitting in front of a TV with some chicken wings and just waiting.
Take a quick break. Flip back over to your Miami Dolphins. Mike McDaniel talking about the loss over the weekend